my favorite thing to be told. We're going to intro and then straight to my face right here. That works. That's fine. How are we doing, everyone? Welcome to Grim After Dark. My name is Jon, and this is your weekly Warhammer rundown where we hit the high points of the last week in the Warhammer community and talk to the best players and content creators from around the world. And sadly, this week also us. Tonight, we welcome no one. As we're going to talk to each other. Danny and I are going to talk to each other about our pasts in content creation with mob rules, downsides of reviewing for Games Workshop, as well as what the future holds for Frontline Gaming Network's very own show, Grim After Dark. My co-host and guest today needs some introduction. He's the terror of the mid-tables. It's Danny McDivett.
Hi, Jon.
Hey, Danny. How are we doing? Hey, I'm excited that our guest is going to have big energy coming in. So thank you for really setting the tone.
I'm here. Did I introduce myself? Like, is that
absolutely. Yeah, I think that's like nepotism. That's
Here's Danny.
Danny, Alex McDougall, fourth place finisher from the Las Vegas Open, slides back into our DMs via YouTube comment by letting us know that fourth place is Canadian bronze.
Yep.
Danny, your thoughts on Canadian bronze, which, by the way, Art of War guys, they have like nicknames on the back of the shirts, right? If Alex McDougall's new nickname isn't Canadian bronze from here on out, then I don't even know what we're doing anymore.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, that Canadian bronze is one of those things that goes right up there with the Canadian tuxedo and also the Canadian firecracker. You don't know what that is? Do yourself a favor and Google that.
Or do yourself a favor and don't, especially if you're on a work or school computer.
Absolutely safe for work.
Well, Danny, the only way to solve this once and for all is to have him on the show to put us in our place and share how he became a faction expert for Tyranids. And nothing, and I really do mean absolutely nothing, will get in the way of him being on our show.
Except for that one thing.
Yeah, he gets booked on another show.
Going to be on the network this week anyway.
Yeah, that was okay. Cool. Well, I guess, in jokes aside, we want to welcome back guest producer Tricky Dick to the show as Val takes some well-earned time off to rebuild the Valputer, seen here in its current form. Poor little guy's been through a lot, and we here at Grim After Dark are really excited to see a second fan get added. For even more cooling power. If you guys wanted to see real behind-the-scenes FLG and stuff, that's what ran LVO.
Yeah, so it's the patented Valnado technology that helps to cool down the computer.
Yeah, the vortex of stress that filtered through the
vortex of stress and nicotine addiction. It's a real joy to behold.
It's a real joy. We're super excited to get on there. Last week, Danny, we had Tanya, the War Mistress. She talked to us about her past job as a pawnbroker. We want to send a big thank you to Chaz, who felt the need to share this with me via Twitter. I did not enjoy waking up to this, but it was a taxidermied raccoon in the style of a Sparran.
It's beautiful.
He says, since you were on the topic of taxidermy, as a fellow Scot, I can only suggest this as a Sparran. I can only assume as he doesn't believe that I'm Scottish enough to wear like a real one and have to do an animal carcass. Danny, what are your thoughts on the raccoon with what looks like a giant ball sack?
Well, I mean that's what the Sparran is, right? It's just kind of a outward representation of your metaphorical ball sack.
A dress sack, if you
Sorry.
will.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I appreciate the clarification. So Do you drop the testicles like directly into the Sparran, or is that like just a bonus sometimes?
What's great about the Sparran is the colder it gets, the closer your change gets to your hands. Because it rises. That was the joke on that one. I don't know if you
because your balls are in there.
Yeah. No, thank you. I appreciate you continuing to no-sell my jokes when they're not funny, as they quite often are not. Super appreciate that. Thank you, Tamagotchi Express. That gateway computer really is being pushed to the limit. I remember my first gateway with its little cow themes.
Yeah, actually, I was going to say it actually came in a Holstein pattern was the case for that particular computer originally.
Danny, would you wear a raccoon Sparran to show your dual lineages?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
I'm
there you
pretty
go.
sure that when the Irish wear sporrans, they or which they, I don't know if they do. They might. Who knows? They wear kilts, right? I think they do.
Yep, they sure do.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I think the trash panda makes a really compelling, like, kind of cultural gateway between two disparate cultures, and helps to kind of bring things together. You know, um,
That famous
really
link
America, showing America.
between that American spirit of reusing every part of the animal and that Irish spirit of wearing anything. Treason Infinite is always our favorite around here, being a grumpy old man who hoards a bunch of useless junk he'll never use. Danny and I obviously are very inspired for the person. Danny, take me through this Pokemon-inspired meme and the thought of
Dude, I love that one.
it. For those of you who are listening and not enjoying this live experience here,
Oh yeah.
it's Pikachu throwing a Pokeball, or what looks like actually a Hitler version of Pikachu throwing a Pokeball because of the mustache. And then Trizon the Infinite, Trizon the Infinite
It's a frowny
throwing
face.
a bunch of random army with go random shit on there, which is very
Yep.
Trazon. Take us through what is that an accurate representation of Trazon as an army and as a player? Can he just throw out Centurions?
I mean, it was a lot of Space Marines, so I think he'd like to vary it up a little bit. He doesn't just collect Space Marines; he collects every army.
He is, and we talked about this before. He's essentially just a Warhammer player, right?
That's exactly right.
Just collects a bunch of armies that seem really good at the time, and then he just doesn't do anything with them forever.
No, he
He
sure
gets mad
doesn't.
when someone touches them. But Denny, Custodes and Tau are winning everything right now.
Oh no.
And is that, dear listener, is that getting you down? Don't worry, guys. Aldari are coming along to balance them out into 12th place again, as we're going to be reminded how amazing Aldari can be when the rules writers put too much into them there. Which, again, Danny, you shared this meme here. Games Workshop rules writers learning how the rules work, and it's that fun Dr. Robotnik. I was not expecting that, but I was expecting not to expect something, so it doesn't count. Which, you shared that, and I was like, man, that is a real tenet of rule design at that company, I believe.
Yeah. Hey, and to be fair, Tamadachi, Seth already had Tau, technically speaking, so he's just adding on to the army now that he's quit Orcs for being too much of a coward.
Yeah, orcs are too overpowered, so he has to move to little old Tau to make it.
Little old measly 77% win rate Tau. It'd be totally fine. Yeah.
And then Salvador Express great job. Dr. Robotnik does look like Val. So thank you for pointing that out, and that'll certainly be Photoshop for next week's episode here.
Perfect.
And that meme also works for Val, where he wasn't expecting that to happen, but he wasn't expecting not to expect something.
Let's make sure we use the cartoon version of of Dr. Robotnik, because it'll be extra flattering.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, there's no balanced plan. The plan is nothing, so the plan is working. Welcome to Chapter Approved 2023. But don't worry, Tau will still be a bit too strong. And how do we know that, guys? Via this amazing detective work via meme. It is Frontline Gaming Overlord and occasional mustache wearer Reese Robbins playing Tau in the advert. And we're letting you. He's definitely putting a vehicle on top of a building. That's fine.
He's like, I got you, bitch. And like he's putting that model down. It's perfect. Oh man, I love that. I love all the pictures, the stock photos of Reese doing stuff. They're so great. Like he's got this plan in his mind, right? And he's setting this model down perfectly. He's like, you didn't see that coming, did you? Me sticking this riptide on top of this building. Everyone saw that coming.
Everyone saw that coming, for sure. But you also know it's a professional photo taken of Reese and not one Reese took, because you can see more than the top of his head. But we're also letting you know that if Frontline spent money on a professional ad and Reese has seen playing Tau, it's going to be good for a while. You don't want to go back and redo the ad stuff there.
No, you do not.
No, that gets spendy. Guys, little known news. Do you guys know Henry Cavill likes Warhammer?
What? No way.
Insane.
For real?
Yeah, for real. Superman actor hopefully will treat the Warhammer community better than he treated the Man of Steel lore. Visited Warhammer World the other day. where I assume he was awkwardly stared at from afar for several hours, overheard several negative comments about him being a power gamer from afar, and made Warhammer World inaccessible to most, as the Warcom team was quick to point out that you must be this chiseled to enter, was their exact reply to one of the tweets about how
No
muscular
way.
Mr. Cavill is. Yep.
Does he play 40K?
Henry Cavill, the Superman actor?
Yeah,
the
he
guy
plays
from The
40K?
Witcher. Yeah, he does. Do you know?
Oh.
Like, yeah. Who knew? I was going to say,
Man.
that tweet from Warcom limits entry to Warhammer World purely to Henry Cavill and Stephen Box. But not everyone was happy.
Because he works out.
Because he works out. Yeah, that's right. You got the joke. That was exactly the joke. The best part about it was he wasn't insecure about Henry Cavill visiting, but his profile picture did turn 2 more degrees to the right in response.
I had no idea that he played 40K even once.
The Stephen Box? Dude, he has a coaching service.
Well, no. Well, I mean, I knew Stephen Box played 40K.
Yeah. But not everyone was happy about the visit, as Tom Walton, a Citadel designer and one of the creative forces actually responsible for making things like the giant Imperial Knight kits possible, took the day off that day to play the new Horizon Forbidden West game. He knows his worth, though, as he mentions, he must be gutted. He missed out on an opportunity to hang out with me. Yeah.
That's crazy, dude. Who knew?
Yeah. He's
never even once talked about it or brought it up in any interviews or done anything. It's kind of surprising. You'd think he'd use his platform to talk about 40K more.
I was going to ask your thoughts on Cavill, but I mean, it's quite clear that
I'm honestly, John, I'm just shocked. I'm shocked. That's the emotion that's playing through my mind right now.
Yeah, I mean, they released a little 30-second video to soft music of him walking around Warhammer World, being like, really? Yeah, I know what an intercessor is. You can only assume.
Did they shoot it all dark like DC, or were they going for something different?
Well, they did CGI a mustache on him to do the opposite of the Justice League reshoots. So absolutely.
That makes sense.
Absolutely. Oh, well, Val was quick to point out that... no, I will not update to Windows 10 computer or 11. Val was quick to point out to us that Games Workshop has a Hollywood agent and is actively shopping around its properties, with the Eisenhorn series being its top priority. So as you can probably tell, with all this video and footage of Henry Cavill coming around in this, he's the perfect match for the role of Becca. So I'm very, very excited. Very excited.
Perfect big win.
Perfect pick. It's a meatier role than Eisenhorn. He doesn't need to know too much of the lore to play it, because I mean, he says we don't know. I mean, we just found out he likes Warhammer. How much does he really know?
I didn't know. Who knew?
Who did? It's not being all over Twitter or Facebook or Twitch or everything.
They haven't even announced it one time on Warhammer Community.
No, they haven't. I'm waiting for the faction pack. Apparently, he has the hero keyword and a 2+ save.
Is this is an Age of Sigmar, I assume?
Yeah, I would assume so, but I would assume the tactics still been the same. We're just going to pelt him with small arms fire and wear him down.
Do you think he likes eggs
in the game? Sigmar? In the game, not in real life. I want to be very clear about that. In the game only.
Do you think he likes Warhammer Fantasy, like Old World, or do you think he likes Age of Sigmar?
I think he likes whichever one pays him the money to play the rules as a part of it.
Okay.
Which right now would be more Warhammer related here. He looks
That's
like
my favorite too, John. To be honest,
he looks like he came from a death world and has strength 4, which is the biggest insult from chat that I can see.
That's a John. That's a Catachin joke.
Yeah, that's a Catachin joke.
Yeah.
Which is just typecasting. Do you know he likes Warhammer? Anyway,
no, dude,
what a great segue.
Arnold likes it.
What a great segue. In Jesus Christ, why are you like this news? We have this amazing picture thanks to Facebook. Apparently, this is a legit way to deploy a rhino. Again, for all of us not joining us live, it is a rhino sitting on its butt, facing up. Someone saying that it's legal. Danny, what are your thoughts on this travesty that shouldn't exist and have a person banned from events?
Sorry. So, am I supposed to comment on your personal views of how
Oh,
this
I
goes?
didn't do any personal
I
views.
mean,
I
look,
said we
clearly,
wanted to
man,
talk about
there should be a path to redemption for cheaters.
it. Look, this isn't 40K Rangers.
Just kidding. There shouldn't. They should be banned for life. But like for real, like this rhino, right? That's actually like I think technically by the rules, that's illegal placement.
It's a
Um,
legal placement, yeah.
yeah, but it's depending on the FAQs like that are in place. Like if you're playing it like a frontline gaming event, they're going to shoot that down. Um, they won't let you do that.
On the plus side, it's much easier to wrap.
No, John,
So
what you're thinking of is you're thinking of a different tournament series. Definitely, Frontline does not shoot people down in the middle of their
yeah,
events. It's a safe tournament to go to if you're going to any Frontline gaming event tournaments.
all
There's been
jokes here.
zero shootings at any of our tournaments.
All jokes here are tabletop based and not in real life. And quickly moving on.
Thank you.
You're good. Words matter, Danny. Which great segue. Thank you so much. Words really matter.
They do.
Danny, a few weeks ago, us and Val, we spent a long time making fun of being a hammer and a meta full of nails meme,
Sure.
which has been a popular one for us here. I think one of my favorites. Did you know the guy who started that replied to us on that episode? Because
Oh,
I didn't
cool.
until I checked it. He said, "Hi, y'all. I'm the creator of the Drukhari hammer and a meta full of red nails Reddit post. And I have to say, I'm elated to learn that I have become a literal meme in the competitive community. My mama always said, try not to be wrong, but if you have to be wrong in big and do it in public." Man, Dean, first, what a cool thing to admit. You use Reddit. Not many people would use that. But Danny, what are your thoughts on this meme maker?
I'll sum it up. I saw a version of this today that said, "Custodes are a club in a meta full of seals," and it just made me really laugh. Like it was pretty great. So 100% that was good.
Oh, amazing. Hey, Danny, new event exclusive miniatures are headed our way. Spearheaded by this amazing company champion. Danny, what are your thoughts on this amazing new miniature?
Dude, Sergeant DiGiorno really knows how to get it done. Like it's a rad miniature actually. Like in all seriousness, I can't wait to get my hands on one.
Yeah.
The optional pizza, I don't know, what is that, a spatula? What do you even call that thing? I'm not even sure.
It's the Rubicon Primaris.
Okay.
A thunder. Oh, we're being told it's a thunder pizza.
A thunder pizza. Okay.
Like a thunder hammer, but more pizza based. Yeah.
Nice.
For sure.
Cool. I like the sword version better.
And I'm really excited to. What a Philistine. The sword version? What are you, 12? But yeah, I'm very excited. And Seth, next time you go to an event, please pick me one up and don't listen to the next 5 minutes of this show before you do that. Finally,
no.
Finally tonight, some monster on Reddit has ranked
guys, this is the end of the show. It's not. Please keep watching.
Some monster on Reddit has ranked every faction on how well they can cuddle. With this guy from Space Marines saying, in armor, it would be very uncomfortable. Out of armor, I could see myself getting nice and snug, but I doubt it'd be very comfortable with doing anything other than killing the enemies of the Emperor. And cuddles are only good if everyone is having fun. Plus, he'd probably accidentally kill me, given how strong his Astartes are. 3 out of 10. I couldn't bear to look more into this. Who is the best cuddler in Warhammer, Danny, and why? And fictional people only, please. We were not ready to out some of the top players.
Probably Dark Eldar witches, because you can't fall back like when they're engaging you.
What I want now is a series of like Warhammer Valentine's cards that are just set in universe that would just really confuse our partners. Be like I sent my wife a card that's like, "Are you a Dark Eldar witch? Because I can't fall back from you." And she'll just be like, "What is this? Why I don't understand
I told you to keep this nerd shit out of our relationship."
Yeah. Like right
Yeah.
now, Tau would be terrible cuddlers because you can't get within 18 inches of them without just
True.
being destroyed. Uh,
Well, you know how weebs smell, man. You can't really blame them for that.
it's fair, yeah. I mean, Space Marines, they seem like a pretty safe bet. They're always going to take all of the moments, so they're going to hold the center tight
Hmm.
and really just try and survive. So, yeah, it's pretty good there. If you want to be insane, you can go look it up in Reddit, see what the rest of the list is. Honestly, I read this one description and it horrified me enough not to do any more. But not enough to point it out to Danny. Thank you, Tamadashi in chat, saying your butt is so big it has armor 14. I am merely a bolt gun in the armor penetration of your hide. Uh, but
Wow.
before we move on, as I keep popping myself, I
Oh,
apologize.
can we please move on from this?
Let's move on from this here to what? Who knows? Something entertaining. God, I hope so. But Tricky Dick, I believe you have a wonderful video to share for our next segment.
Cherokee Open.
Yeah, we got you guys. You thought that was going to be the LVO video again, huh?
Gotcha.
No. It only took us several weeks to get that ready. But this weekend is the Frontline Gaming Cherokee. Sorry, Danny, go.
We spared literally no expense.
No expense was spared because none was actually given. This weekend, however, is the Frontline Gaming Cherokee Open, and it is the biggest event ever to kick off the new 2022 ITC season. The new chapter approved will be in use, and you can tune in live to view all the action in the beautiful Smoky Mountains on the Cherokee Reservation. The event's going to be streamed all weekend on the FLGN Twitch page, with War Games Live providing the amazing coverage. Who's going to take the top spot and an early lead in the 2022 ITC season with the likes of Art of War's Anthony Vanelli, Jack Harpster, and Mark Perry attending. While Tabletop Life's Thomas Bird is dropping in to restake his claim for the top. And seeing as his last name is Bird, I'm assuming Seth Oster is going to show up to try and kill him. I don't know. Danny, what are your takes for what's going to happen this weekend?
Every single thing that you just said was 100% factual. Doing no fact checking on that whatsoever, but I'm going to go with it. That's my. But so, what are you asking me for a prediction for this weekend?
Yeah. So going through sort of the list of the names that stuck out to me, like I said, we have Anthony Vanella, we have Jack Harpster, Mark Perry, Seth Oster was there, kind of as like a red herring prediction.
Right. You would bet on him as a joke, right? Like that was
I mean, I write jokes, and I wrote Seth's name there. So yeah.
No, I'm explaining the joke again.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And chat, thank you for letting us know that they're excited for Hot Tau on Custodes action.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming that after 6 rounds, it won't be Tau on Tau action.
It could very well be Tau and Custodes action. Custodes did very well this last weekend as well. They had a stupidly high win percentage. So
what's that win percentage?
Everybody get ready.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's going to be probably Tau versus Custodes. I think that's probably going to be.
Oh, I thought you were going to be like, everyone get ready, so I tell you the win percentage. And I was ready to do like a spit take kind of thing, like a.
I'll just make it up. It was 83%.
Yeah, it was 83%. All that we know, 83?
No.
Okay.
I think it was in the 70s, but like I think if you take out the Tau and like the if you take out the mirror match, something like that. But we're between those two factions. It was something stupid high like that.
Oh my god, this
like 70, 76, 77.
Well, thankfully, I guess you're like, well, it's like a club and a meta full of seals. The Eldari will be along soon to be like, I don't know, like a lack of warm clothing and a hypothermic environment full of, I don't even know. Heck, Danny, introduce the guest. It was.
Are you done? Are you finished?
I should have been done like 20 seconds ago. Like there was a great thing in my mind about what was coming up, but you know, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, that's what my wife says. Like, are you done yet? You should have been done 20 seconds ago. Like,
You're like, it's only been 15. I don't know what
I
you're
know.
talking
Yeah, just give me negative time.
Oh, hey
Jesus
guys.
Christ. For real?
about. Yeah.
There was a slight mishap with my costume in the back, so
Oh my God.
you know,
What's
I-
great?
yeah.
This is Tech Priest Richard.
Hey.
Get welcome. This is what he looks like without the robe.
Yeah,
This is canon now.
yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right. And thank you for not showing us this before we started recording.
Yeah, it's ridiculous actually when you actually look at it on the screen. It's ridiculous. So yeah, how you guys doing?
Does it track your arm?
Yeah,
You're an abomination.
it doesn't.
in the eyes of
It
God.
doesn't. So my arms are just completely stuck in my hoops. Actually, are completely stuck in place currently. So yeah. Sorry about
Just T-posing for dominance over us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This whole time.
Well, so hold on. The hooves are stuck or your arms are stuck?
Well, my arms can clearly move, but the hooves on the screen.
No, I don't think they can. It just looks like you've got, I don't know.
Here, wait. There.
Oh,
Are you happy?
Oh.
okay.
Are you happy?
No, to be honest, I was never happy.
Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna go.
All right,
back
all right. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. I think we killed John.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Val's gonna be so upset because I can like turn my head with this one.
Oh yeah,
and,
that's
like
way
it's
better.
yeah. No, he's gonna be really upset.
I think it actually is Green Arrow.
Yeah,
But
could be.
all of the cost of being a sparkly unicorn with rainbow hair, which
Yeah.
I love, fits the aesthetic of this beautiful set.
Yeah.
And there's not a TV on you, which
No, we only need two. Like that's what
immersion.
happens when your guests don't come on the show. You only need one TV, so you're good.
It's
that's
true.
fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. It's fair. Sick burn, but I appreciate that. I can respect that. And that doesn't look like a unicorn horn on your head. I'm just saying.
What?
What does it look like? A birthday candle?
Here, just touch it. Just touch it. It's a real horn.
Oh, don't touch it.
Yeah. I made him touch my horn. Oh, jeez. What have we become? What is
What
this?
have we even
What
become?
are we doing here?
God.
Oh my god.
All right,
What are
well,
we even
it's
doing?
been real, guys. Have a good night.
Bye.
Well, we're excited for Rainbow Sparkles to come back on at any time soon. Hey, Danny, and this is kind of just like a little secret sesh for us here to just kind of talk. Did I tell you my little Adepticon story from a while ago? The
No.
Adepticon
Are
convention
you
a few years
supposed to
ago
be now?
was right beside a hotel that was running a convention for furries. So there was a mix, people walking out for cabs and things, between people like wearing ridiculous costumes and just looking like fools and furries. And it was just a really unfortunate kind of combination of things. And yeah, it was. Did I turn up for a furry convention or Adepticon? Who knows? I certainly don't.
Neither did the hotel. You know that they probably assumed you were staying for the furry convention.
Well, come for the 40K.
Stay for the if.
Come for the Danny, why don't you lead us into whatever it is we're doing next here?
Okay. Sure. So tonight, John and I thought that we would kind of just since all of our guests decided to be on other shows.
Well, one of them did. We had 4 options, and one was an amazing idea that we can't do yet. So that'll be next week. But yeah, that's okay. We're going to talk to Danny McDivett of Mob Rules fame.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So anyway, so we're going to talk. John and I are just going to have a great conversation here tonight, kind of going over us. We're going to ask ourselves some questions.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to grow a little.
We're going to grow a little as people.
Yeah.
Chad, if you guys have any questions, feel free to throw them in as
yeah,
well.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, if you guys want to ask us anything, we're more than happy to answer questions.
I will butcher them in ways that people just won't even know. I mean, if you guys saw that Seal reference I tried to make earlier, it's going to be like that with your questions, but worse.
Get ready.
Danny, how long have you been doing stuff now, like content creation wise, like podcasting and things? Because I think
Oh,
my first experience with you was when I had you on as a guest on Mob Rules, like 4 years ago. I want to say 5.
well, it was when I won that tournament at God, what was the name? What was the name of that event? It was terrible. It was
Was
at
it
the
Battles on
church.
Ursa? No.
God, this
Oh
is
no,
riveting, right?
riveting things. Yeah, he won a local event at a church. Um, no, it was Battle Zone Ursa because it was Battle Brothers, Alaska Battle
Yeah,
Brothers.
yeah, Alaska Battle Brothers.
It was held at a local Christian high school.
Hmm.
And we interviewed you in like the kind of the vendor area as it was being shut down, and people were
Yep,
actively telling us to leave.
yep.
Um,
But there was like 8 people in a big circle with a microphone, and we just kind of passed it around and talked about
mhm.
the event.
And
So
if
yeah,
you
that was
continue
fun.
listening to us, the audio quality stayed the same over the years. It is still like a single microphone. We pass.
Fucking awful. Yeah.
Just terrible. And as Chad says, that explains the podcast. We all know once you win a tournament, you have to start a podcast.
It was actually several years, right after that I was actually
Yeah.
invited onto the podcast.
So yeah, that was
So,
true. So yeah, I started Mop Rules like 6 years ago.
yeah.
I want to say now with another
Is that
local guy,
it?
Ted. Yeah, 6 or 7 years ago, but with another like local guy, like a really great artist called Ted, who really kind of brought me in and kind of like taught me like the basics of like audio and all this other stuff, and it's just a way for us to do it. We were listening to like independent characters a lot.
Yep.
So I was like, we can do something like that. And if you listen to the first like 20 episodes or so, I cringe kind of going back to it because it's like hobby progress, games played, lore section, and it was very kind of cookie cutter at the time, but at the same time, it was kind of fun. It's kind of neat seeing like an audience grow. So like you release your first episode and you do like zero promotion for it. No one knows
Right.
who you are. No one knows even what a podcast is. And you're like, oh, 15 people downloaded it this week. And you're like, whoa. And ever since like our viewership is like increased by half again.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after that, Ted moved on to other things.
Well, you had Phil the Glacial Geek on
Oh
the
yeah, we had
podcast.
Phil. That's right. We had Phil the Glacial Geek on. Phil moved out of state, so when Phil moved out of state, we brought Danny on, kind of as our third, because all the best podcasts have 3 people, including interview shows. We just replaced our with Rainbow Sparkles. Danny, so what was kind of your thought? Because what happened when we reached out? And we're like, hey, do you want to come on and do this kind of regularly?
Well, first of all, I was super excited because like I felt like the energy like matched well, like between because I'd been on the podcast a couple of times as a guest, and I think you guys probably had some other guests on to kind of do some like I don't know some mock interviews or whatever for other people, which is cool. I think that's the way to go. You got to like make sure that the people that are going to be with you in content creation have kind of a similar voice. I think that's really important. I think it's also really important that you guys are. I think it helps a lot if you guys are friends.
Right. I would say like we weren't like super close before we started recording together. Like we knew of each other, obviously.
No, yeah, for sure.
A bunch of local tournaments, but like that kind of helped increase that too. But yeah, definitely, like it really helps out. I was excited to kind of bring you on because Ted and I, not great players. Like Ted, amazing artist, great narrative guy, does a bunch of awesome events. Me was just like sort of a try hard, buying everything that seemed good at the time, but never actually practicing with it. So kind of like having that third voice on there who was able to be like, well, no, you guys are wrong. This is really stupid. Super helpful for that. Well, another thing, like I remember Ted pushing really hard to get it reviewed by people and get the podcast like out there and get people listening. So he sent a message to Adam Solis, LVO judge, who was on a few weeks ago.
Oh, sure.
Who was like, hey, we just interviewed Gav Thorpe. It was like episode 10 or something like that. He's like, can you listen to it and let people know? And Solis was like, I don't know how they got Gav Thorpe. Their audio was awful. It was okay interview, I guess. And like I reminded Adam of this like when we saw him, and he was like, yeah, it was true though. And I'm like, well, yeah, but still.
I mean, it was accurate, right?
It was accurate, yeah.
Yeah.
What are some of the struggles for you, Danny, on like regular content creation? Because I think the thing that most podcasts and things like live and die for. Because like when I'm looking for guests for the show, I'm like I go around like different podcasts, different networks, different YouTubes, and I find something I really like. Like the last one I saw was like Bros before. I can't remember the name of the podcast now. It's terrible, but it was like two guys explaining Warhammer lore to their friend. I'm like, man, that is like, it's a great podcast. It's like a great chat altogether. But they stopped recording like 6 months ago, and then it's like very intermittent. What are some of the challenges for you for like that frequent content creation?
Well, I would say they have to do with original ideas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, like, obviously, this is uh, not always a me problem, but it's often a you problem for sure. And like, I do my best to help out, but I'm not like the most creative person all the time, especially when it comes to comedy stuff. And so like, it helps to have somebody who's good at writing. Like I have Jon, and Jon is amazing at writing. And
Unless you listen to the first 20 minutes of every episode of Grimm, which is a weekly example of how I'm not. But yeah.
Dude, we've had there's been some excellent gems in there, right?
There has been.
Yeah, no, I think you've done a phenomenal job. Like, first of all, what about like, so when I think it's that kind of like bringing that every week, right? Or every 2 weeks, like bringing that to the table is, it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, like the hardest thing for me, there's time, appreciate you too, darling. But there's times where like you're sitting there, and more so like, I think it's happened like once or twice with Grimm After Dark, at least once every 6 months with Mob Rules, where you're like, I just really don't want to talk about Warhammer. Oh my God.
Right.
There's nothing I can get excited about right now. And there's times in the start of 7th edition, we were doing it where it was kind of like, oh, everything sucks. It's not a fun game. But bringing yourself to that level to be excited about it and just to not be, because there's a dime a dozen podcasts out there who are like, yeah, this game's awful, I hate it. Yeah. And then it's like, no one wants to hear that. Like, you don't want to spend like an hour of your time listening to how the hobby you like is terrible and awful. And also this podcast you listen to is just how about terrible and awful things are. You don't want to be that person. So really kind of building yourself up to be like, yeah, let's go Warhammer.
For sure. It's
super
not easy.
hard. No. Have you had many times sort of like that, Danny?
Do I have any what?
Do you have many times or like many memories of a time when you've been like, man, I just don't want to do this right now?
Oh yeah, all the time. Like getting burned out. Like it's a for real thing. Like sometimes you have to take a day, right? And yeah, that's super difficult. Oh, okay. Hi, Richard. I'm glad to see you put back on your robe.
It was I just couldn't do that. I couldn't do the unicorn thing. I'm sorry.
No, yeah. Rainbow sparkles.
Yeah, well, you can keep calling. I kind of dig the name, to be honest. So you can keep calling me that.
Oh, I will.
Do you want us to call you Sparkles?
Yeah, whatever.
Little Canadian rainbow.
Yeah. All right.
Nice.
You keep going. I'm just listening. You guys are doing great.
Okay.
Yeah. We're just reminiscing right here.
No, I love it. It's good stuff.
We are lucky enough in our other life. Through Mob Rules, we get to review copies of GW product early, things like that. Talk me through that. Like how is that for you?
So, some people say, and that these people that are doing these product reviews are just raking in the bucks and that kind of thing. And I don't know if you've heard that. I don't know if you've heard that before. But
corporate
factually
shill.
Incorrect.
Corporate shill, making too much money. Clearly,
yeah, clearly. I'm having to. I wear this this designer Mob Rules T-shirt, right, that I'm wearing tonight. You can tell in my bare walls in my room here. It's what a life, man! What a life.
Yeah, no, and that's something. And then you've kind of reminded me there. That's something we get a lot. Is just a bunch of shills. Then like there's something like we're forced to be positive about stuff.
Well, and like I don't know. So for me, I feel like I come across. I'm a pretty positive person. I try not to kick things in the balls too much. I try not to be a cynic. Not that you are or anything, John. But I like to see like the bright side maybe of the things that we're examining, rather than the Black Templar side of things.
The grumpy side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thank you, Vivi Fresh, for pointing out here. This site has taught me that nobody wants to hear about how middle tier the Black Templars are. But I love to hear about how much awfulness they represent in our cause. Inside jokes, hearty heart. It's more fun than listening to a rule I'd likely never play or encounter.
Yeah, like the rules that come in the Black Templar supplement.
It's my vow. The next podcast is passion or vow. I will say, like, the downside, yeah, it's great that hey, here's the latest codex. You review it, perfect. We've had like some great examples of that, but if you look at, I remember like distinctly doing the 8th edition or the 9th edition Space Marine Codex review with you, Danny, at your place. We had to do Necrons and Space Marines in the same night.
Oh my god!
Each of those books was like 2 hours of recording.
Yeah,
and then I remember sitting at my laptop, editing together the Space Marine video while you talked about like the Necron one. And each of those videos that goes out, if you think about like if it's like an hour and a half codex review, that's like 3 to 4.5 hours of work overall. And then Richard, you're a little tech, but like video stuff isn't super easy whatsoever.
Yeah, like so I did the 50-minute video that aired kind of on the off, like during the breaks during LVO. It was 58 minutes. It took weeks to get all together. So yeah, I know I feel your editing pain for sure.
Yeah. And for all those who say the reviewers are just got the easy button and they can win all the tournaments with it, just look at my record.
Yeah.
that is far from true. Far from true.
I mean, look at John's record.
Yeah, please don't. It's not great. Reese, if you could reset the ITC so that goes away.
Hey, good for you, John. I think that might be in the works.
Let's hope so. The other thing I find kind of doing this stuff is like I love talking, I love doing this stuff. I don't have like sometimes like you don't have any time to actually play, which makes talking about the game super hard. Especially if you look at the past kind of few months. Danny, I know like you and I, you're doing like stupidly like high level school stuff, plus Grim on Mondays, plus Small Rules every other Wednesday, plus Codex reviews when stuff comes out. And it's like, when do you sort of fit the games in, right? So how do you keep current with the product when you can't necessarily play all the time so you still sound like an authority on things?
Well, that's a great question, John.
I do them. It's why I'm here. We already went through my ITC standings. It is not for my rankings, like whatsoever here.
I read a lot of chats. I try and read some reviews and things like that of what people are talking about. I don't know. I mean, like I get a couple of days to kind of form my own opinion about what a new book is going to like, what's going to be good in a new book. I'm not always right. I would say most people aren't right all the time, but yeah, I don't know. I read a lot. I read a lot of stuff. I try and engage myself in conversations. I've been trying to play more Tabletop Simulator just so I can like try and get some more games in. But
doesn't that take like 17 hours for 2 turns?
It's what?
Doesn't that take like 17 hours for 2 turns though?
It's not that bad.
No, well, I'm getting like mass feedback on this one here. Holy cow!
No, you don't get. I don't think. Honestly, man, during COVID, if I didn't have TTS, I don't think I would have played 40K. So it was definitely one of those needed things to have in your back pocket. And actually, I use it as almost like a tool now to like take a look at the army that I'm going to buy, because I need to spend all my money on 40K apparently, but also to deploy your army and do stuff like that. So yeah, it's a good tool.
For sure. Because again,
it's a
like
good tool.
The deployment stuff, I guess, is like super important. Where you lose like a lot of stuff there.
Yeah.
Danny, what's your favorite thing we've ever done as part of a podcast or video? I want to specify.
Man, that's hard.
Top 10.
Oh, okay. No, I know what it is. When we shot those Kill Team videos, I was really proud of the content that we created for that. I think we did a really good job.
Guys, those still get views. That is a very old edition of Kill Team. I would like you to, probably should not use that one anymore.
Sure.
But that was super good.
Yeah, that was fun. How about you, John? What do you think was the hardest thing?
A couple of the skits I wrote were super good that we did with our old co-host Dave.
Yeah.
So like the null oil spray
Yeah.
was like the super cool one where we just did this stupid video where we took like a can of black primer and like we made like a null oil spray cover to go on the primer, and just we were like we had Dave could be like, yeah, now we're just gonna cover, like we painted a miniature badly. I'm like, no, we're just gonna paint it with null oil spray, and we just sprayed this Primaris Lieutenant for like a minute and a half with black.
It's like
it was
coming down the model in waves of like dripping wet paint. Like he's caked.
Yeah, he was caked, and I remember just going to be like, David, like spray longer, spray longer. It's only funny if we just spray longer and longer. And then we did like a smash cut to a really well painted Lieutenant miniature. Yeah, and I'm like, look, it worked. Null oil spray available only for us. Like, I was super proud of that one. That one turned out like really, really well. My favorite thing about it is we did get word back from GW that their army painters used to use a spray bottle mister of Agrax Earthshade. Yep. So when they were painting giant armies, they would use that and they would mist or spray on the spray for that. So that was like super cool to be like, yeah, we're not really that far off with some of those things.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then also Thames Express, thank you so much. Our mob rule commercials, like we did a bunch of things because I was like, no one's gonna want to advertise with us, so we made up like a bunch of random commercials and kind of stupid things that we did. Like we had Gav Thorpe record like a cookie commercial, and then we had Peter from an old podcast, NGC 40K. Like I wear the shirt all the time because I super enjoyed it. But he's the one who made our whistling ad, which is like universally our most divisive ad or thing we've ever done. Be it on Grim After Dark, from our Codex reviews, from everything. The thing people talk to us most about it and kind of love hate is this whistling ad, which is an old like 90s style like compilation album. I have it on my board somewhere here, but what happened was, they're like, oh, I hate that ad, never play it again. And guys, like, I hope you know, like after 36 40 weeks or something, if you tell me not to do something, like I'm gonna on purposely do something more. The fact where it was suggested with like, because Alex McDougall had been on Chapter Tactics, we probably shouldn't have him on this week, actually only made me want to do it like way more. But at the same time, I was like, nope, no, we're gonna step back. It's fine there. Like that was super cool. Danny, when did you think, okay, yeah, this is kind of a thing? This isn't just sort of like us goofing off every like other week or so.
Probably when I wrote that article for GW. Like that was probably when I was like, oh, cool, this is actually going somewhere.
Oh yeah, you did write an article for GW.
Yeah, I wrote an article, right? Yeah,
we both did. My favorite thing, so yeah, it was during lockdown, and they reached out and they were like, hey, if you guys want to write some articles, send it in, let us know. I sent them a bunch of ideas, and the one they wanted to choose was like your favorite mobile game. So I kind of listed out my favorite GW mobile games, and there was only like 40,000 at the time. Now there's like 80 to 100,000. But they took out like some of my best jokes. It was edited down for clarity and also for sarcasm, because I put there's an Imperial Fist RPG one, like where they're on a space Hulk, and it's like the weird 3D isometric. It's I forget the name of it. I love it so much, but I made a joke about how your squad's being killed down to a man who's just you, much like all Imperial Fist should be. That was taken out for clarity. So I get it. And then also Snotling Fling is a game I love so much. It's not made anymore. You can't get it anymore. It's still on my phone.
That was a fun game.
But it was a fun game. Danny, what was your article about?
I had two articles. They were both about Chaos Space Marine tactics with the new Codex. So I wrote a bit about Lord Discordance. And like people were really upset that I said that they were good. And like this was back when nobody was taking them. And I'm like, actually, I think they're probably pretty good. Like they're fine. And then everyone was like, no, you're wrong. And then like maybe 3 or 4 months later, like there are 3 of them in every single chaos. So like I felt a little vindicated by that.
I want to thank you for telling me that nice and early, so I could purchase and own 3 Discordants before
Oh yeah.
they like cause like a shortage on things. But it's crazy. How have you seen kind of the hobby progress over the last like 4 years of
Oh,
recording on and doing content creation? Like from where we are now to where we've been, what's most impressive for you?
so I guess to me, what's been really amazing is the increase in player base. I feel like that's just been what what happened? What did I miss?
What's up?
Oh, never mind. Okay. So, increase in player base. That's what I would say has been the most surprising to me. Like how fast, like the player base has grown, even over the pandemic. Like, which I think
Mhm.
is huge.
Yeah, for
So,
sure. So like Richard, and you're like responsible for like a lot of the success of FLGN over the last year or
Who's
so.
Richard?
sorry, Sparkles.
There you go, Sparkles. There you
Sparkles,
go. Boom.
Sparkles,
Got
sorry,
me.
Sparkles.
What up?
Sparkly Unicorn, you're responsible for a lot of the success of kind of FLGN and kind of helping out with a lot of the
Success.
technical
Oh,
stuff.
thanks.
You make like in a lot of those cool little videos. Like for you, what's been like the biggest indicator for you? Like what the 40K has been on this gargantuan rise of popularity. What's it been like for you, sort of in the back end there? Because you're never usually out front. I
No,
appreciate you coming out for this.
very rarely out front. Even in LVO, I was in behind the curtain, the black curtain of doom, where you couldn't actually hear anything, which was kind of weird. Like, there was a lot of people out in the front, and you couldn't hear anyone. The indicator that we were doing that things were doing well, or that the hobby was getting huge. Um, I think just when GW picked us up, uh, we were just doing the stream for Frontline Gaming. We did it. We just finished LSO, um,
Mm-hmm.
and we were flying back, and then I guess Simon got, or Val, sorry. Oh boy, I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag again. Jeez Louise. Oh man,
Earn that money,
edit that
Tyler.
out. Beep that shit.
Oh
Okay,
man, you're going
so
to be a servitor by tomorrow for
oh
sure.
man, I'm gonna be a unicorn for the rest of the time I have to do this. Um, we got communication from GW that they wanted they wanted us to do their big events, and that kind of like, whoa, holy moly,
That's awesome.
this thing's getting real. So yeah, I think that was it.
How was that? Like the differences between obviously with like FLG, where you kind of you have a lot of freedom, and like GW obviously was like a little bit more constricted about what they
Yeah,
want to produce.
as you, I
Like
think
how was that for you?
I assumed that there was going to be more rules associated to it, and there was. It was you know, we set our overlay up to do both kinda, and just kind of
Mm-hmm.
interchange the visuals of it. So nothing really changed. The only thing that changed, and I know it was a hot topic afterwards, was player mics. Was the biggest
Mm-hmm.
thing. So
Oh sure.
hate to bring that thing up, but yeah, player mics, they just weren't allowed on the GW stream, so we never really pursued it any further than that, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
so then, you know, obviously, Las Vegas, we kind of said they're going, oh, I guess people want player mics like really badly, so let's make that work. So I don't know how it's gonna work GWI's going in the future, but I don't know, maybe we need to sit down at the board or something and make
Yeah.
that happen. But yeah,
Well, I guess. Well, here's the deal. Like, and this is going to be again as we continue to evolve this nothing episode, which is now one of my favorites, by the way.
oh,
What is both of your opinions on that? Like the whole idea of player mics, because you do have some great insight when you do have those
mm,
player mics from people like your Sieglers and everything who are like kind of like highly trained, I would say, in kind of how to talk at the game and like kind of a coaching style that people follow along and
mhm,
understand. But then you also get situations like Nick Nanavati's LVO moment from a few years ago, where he didn't allow that take back or that stratagem to be used out of phase, and it just got real salty real fast.
yeah.
So starting with you, Rainbow Sparkles, what's your opinion on player mics?
Um, I'm going to echo a very smart man's comment, and that smart man was the Falcon. He said, I don't know if we're adult yet in the community to deal with some of these things.
Mm-hmm.
And he's kind of right. I mean, I don't know, is our job to protect the players, or is our job to literally show the game and what's happening in the game?
Mm-hmm.
that's something that I'm personally battling with. I don't know, Dan. What's your kind of thought, Dan?
So I think that we won't get to that point until we start actually miking people up. I think
Yeah.
it's important that we're going to have to people are going to have to screw up, unfortunately, like in order for us to learn, or them to learn not to do that stuff. But like, for example, like John's example of John's example of Nick Nanavati getting heat, I don't think he did for that, because the guy in question was a giant d-bag. So like,
Well, great. Now I have to cancel next week's guest too.
well, he had to do that. He had to Grappando, I believe, and I believe that was the game where he didn't allow the take back, particularly. Like that guy had just screwed over his last opponent super hard by basically kind of leading him into the end of his movement phase, and you wouldn't have known that if the players weren't mic'd up. I think it is important to do that, and I think that we should get people on there. Now, are there going to be growing pains? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like we're going to have people saying things that are pretty dumb. Somebody might look real bad on Mike for a minute. But I think that kind of has to happen in order for us to get real with this.
I think the thing that's scared, to bring it back to the GW no mic thing, I think the thing that terrified GW is if you watch the London Grand Tournament, the big Kahuna. They had player mics on. I think there was a medical emergency the last day, like the finals, and they just didn't have any commentary. They just had players mic'd. And if you listen to that game, it looks terrible for the hobby. Like, it is not a great game to watch. I think it lasted 30, 40 minutes. And everyone can watch it. It's all online that you can watch the finals. I'm pretty sure there was a medical emergency and there was no commentary at all. I may be speaking out of turn. I'm sure Rob will let me know on a comment at some point. But I'm pretty sure that's what happened, and they had the players mic'd, and it just didn't feel good listening to it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I know you guys have played 40K before, and you've had those contentious, brutal games that you're like, oof, I do not want to be in this thing. I'd rather be at the bar, kind of thing. And it felt very like that. So, do you want to air that kind of game? And from GW's stance, nope, they do not. So,
we have Aesthetics Deluxe here coming in with this point of like player mics are mandatory. Damn, as I can't even believe it's even a discussion.
Yeah.
And which, like, I think the place for me where the sweet spot is sort of like the hybrid method of it, where players are mic'd up at all times, but it's not player audio going across at all times.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't think anybody was saying that it should be purely player-driven audio.
Because if you look at something where you have like the LVO stream where you have like Falcon and Camilleri just doing an amazing job on trying to describe what's happening, and I know it's been talked about the ability to have them kind of listen into players and kind of fit it up and down, but there needs to be that moment where you can turn the mics off. And the hard part about this is if you see some stuff like starting to go down, like say your Nick Nanavati comes up and he's playing someone and all of a sudden he's not ready to party anymore. Like if you then go to mute that, like right away, like, okay, this is going to be really bad for the game. If you mute that, then you come into this whole thing where like, oh yeah, FLG or GW or whoever, they're just big shills or they're hiding this sort of thing. So that there's that kind of like worry too. I guess it's like a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of thing.
I think like you said, and I think what most people are there needs to be an on-off ability, and and that needs to be controlled. And to be honest, from thinking about it and working with Val, I said his name right, Val, about it, it needs to be
keep drawing attention to it, it makes it better.
Yeah, I know, it's the worst. I think it needs to be controlled by the commentary team. So the guys need to go, let's see what they're talking about now, because they're watching the game closely and they understand what's happening. So they'll be able to get an idea of where and what they're talking about, right? So
sometimes they know what's going on. Sometimes they're making random guesses of what the players are doing. And that's the problem, right? We can't that's bad. That's real bad. That doesn't look good for anyone. It doesn't look good
Yeah.
for the commentators. It doesn't look good for like the state of the game. So I think that there's definitely a balance to be struck there that's really important.
Yep.
But I think it's a really big mistake to not give people access to that audio. It's in some capacity.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I'm 100% just for chat, so I don't get true to live. For all 5 people that watch this, I'm 100%
We're
on
up to
board.
5.
I don't know. The counter's
All right,
actually at a 0
we've
currently.
Bang, heck yeah.
No, but people are chatting. So I think we are going to have player mics at the next event. I think that's a given. So so the players will be mic'd in some capacity next event, and I believe the next event we're gonna be at is BAO. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Danny, there's lots of too many people here, like stressful now.
13.
Oh
boy.
13. Unlucky for some.
I'm
Good,
flustered.
we turned 2 people off, saying that we're good for everyone. Danny, we've kind of gone a little long. We're like Seinfeld right now. It's a show about nothing.
It's true.
We did nothing.
Yeah.
We're
not
awful people as well.
It's
not
a beautiful
as focused
nothing,
as a Ted Lasso, but it was a beautiful nothing. Anything else you want to add or talk about before we sort of wrap this up here?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that I'm really appreciative that we have a show here on Frontline. Like I've had a lot of fun doing Grim. And so this has been a really good time, and I'm really excited for what the future holds. We're going to have a lot more interesting guests. We're going to report on some topics. We may even play a game someday again in the future, but it's hard.
Someday. And like I said, we have some great guests lined up. We have some people lined up for the future when projects and kind of appearing would make more sense. And like I said, I'm very thankful for having this avenue to talk to all of you, to tell my terrible jokes. It's been very, very fun and very unknowing. And then, of course, we get to know like Rainbow Sparkles here. We got to know Val a little better. We got to make fun of Seth. To answer the chat's question, the next streamed event is going to be this weekend at the Cherokee Open on this very spot. War Games Live is going to be handling that stream. So players are going to be mic'd. I think BAO, what Rainbow Sparkles was referring to, was when the Ocho will be back in action with their brand new 2022 stream. Which, guys, you won't believe it when you can see it. I'm going to overhype this till Rainbow Sparkles.
Oh, it's amazing.
All kinds of
the graphics, the animations.
Next level.
Yeah. You need to. Can you just like 2 cameras and that's it? Kind of. Can we go back to like the start?
No.
No.
We're not doing
every
that.
single. So all 230 tables camered up.
Every single time a model dies, there's a little explosion on the camera on the top down.
The best part.
I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but that's actually a thing. Like there's actually the ability to, if something dies, to do like the little puff of smoke kind of deal. Yeah, that's actually a thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The best part about it is Val has control over audio and video for all 230
Oh no.
tables.
So it's not a thing then, is it?
It's so awful.
Yeah. It's the metaverse of streams. Oh, that's amazing. Please.
Good job,
Okay,
man.
go
Why
on the
did you write my
table
jokes?
232. Let's see what's happening.
Looks like we're an hour and a half into the round and we're just finishing deployment.
They're still in deployment.
Guys, like I wanted to say, thank you so much for joining us each and every week. We have some amazing shows lined up for you over the next few months. Some of them are just going to be like hanging chats like we had today. We got to Rainbow Sparkles, had some great conversations, and we went on a nice 10-minute tangent about player mics.
It's true.
We have some amazing guests lined up. Next week, GW previewed it. The Eldari Codex is coming. Pre-orders start next week, and we're going to have JT McDowell from Play on Tabletop come on and work on some amazing Eldari lists, which when you guys see the book, not hard. But they're going to be different and they're going to be great. And then again, we're going to have Canadian Bronze himself on in a few weeks again. Very excited for what we're calling season 2 of Grim After Dark. And you can tell it's season 2 because we changed literally nothing about it. We just kind of, we're a little bit more comfortable with it. And we won't. We like what we do. And the best thing to do is if you pop yourself.
I like
You
the
can't
TV
make us
screens. The
unless
TV
you make
screens are really
entertainment.
original too. Actually, I think we need to add more TV screens. Actually,
Do you guys? I know I already wrapped up, but do you remember when we first launched everything, and no one realized that every show was just TV screens?
no, everyone realized it, and we got only shit for it. Actually,
Well, until we launched, and then everything was TV screens.
and that was
But
all the overmind. He wanted it to have a theme, and TV screens was the theme. And man, that backfired. But no,
because it's modern CRT monitors. That's modern imagery. But I love the slate of shows we have for every Monday. We are here with Grim After Dark. We have Chapter Tactics on Tuesday. Signals from the Front Line is just a way different show than Signals from 2 years ago, and I think it gets better and better every week with Kicker and that other guy. And then the Thursday show is just sort of like the perfect preview for the weekend. With, of course, Murphy Camilleri and other.
Yeah.
No, Dustin has been passed.
With 3 people and 2 people's worth of sleeves, the Thursday show is a great watch.
Your predictions don't count if you have sleeves. That's what we've learned.
Have you guys gone through and seen like how right they are on like when they actually pick the winner like 9 times out of 10.
Really?
Well,
Yeah. Either they're living in the future, I don't know.
I kept saying there should be a show that kind of fact checks them on like a Monday or Tuesday, and be like, "Hey, you were wrong. You were right." I'm too lazy.
That should be you guys. You guys should do that.
I'm too lazy to do that.
He goes,
chat, if you have someone who wants to volunteer to do that for us, and then we can just talk
please.
shit about like the
because
predictions.
If they're wrong for a lot, like you can Thursday show. What do they know?
Only way more than us. It's only like really knowledgeable, great players giving advice about tournaments, but we make jokes about birds.
Tomato, yeah.
And Adam.
Oh boy,
I love it. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Join us next week, same time, which is 10:30-ish, probably hopefully closer to 10 Eastern. Where we're going to be going over some Aldari fun, more bad jokes, more Danny, maybe more rainbow sparkles. I hope so.
Probably not.
Probably not, but maybe sometime.
He loves the show. He's going to be here for sure.
Oh, well, at least one person does.
Yeah. He doesn't count as a viewer though.
No, dang it. Guys, check out Mob Rules, where Danny and I kind of cut our teeth. YouTube, Facebook. Go to manscaped.com, promo code Falcon. Got to throw that out there. And then we will see you next Monday, but not you.